Good morning, everyone. This is Melanie from Light Beams Treasures. Now, this is a different video. This is one of those videos that I have a question. So this is where I'm going to say, stop everyone, because if I have a question, I guarantee other people have that same question too. And I almost feel like there is so much misinformation on this very subject simply because I've spent quite some time this morning looking at different videos, talking to some friends, trying to get answers. And you know something? I am getting different answers. Even some of the top YouTube people that talk about this subject are giving different answers. So I have a question. So let's talk about it. I want to show you something. I'm going to show you this, which is simply a box. But then there's this. Hmm, it's a box. It's a box with a plastic bag wrapped around it. But now it's no longer in the pirate ship world known as a box. This is now considered a box in a bag, which has a very different rate than what putting a box in. So, first of all, let's talk about it. Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship is a third-party program that works in conjunction with the United States Postal Service, and it, for those who are resellers, definitely look into it because the prices are so much cheaper. Pirate Ship also works great if you're using platforms such as Facebook Marketplace, if you're using Mercari, if you're using Poshmark, where you have to print your own labels. You could go straight to Pirate Ship rather than going straight to USPS or UPS or FedEx. So it is an alternate program that you can use for shipping. Now they have a very interesting program called Cubic Rate. Now Cubic Rate is for people who use poly bags or who use bubble envelopes. So the design for it, which I don't even have a bag to show you. Here, I do have a bag. The purpose of it was to show you have a poly bag, a bubbled envelope. Obviously, there's a length, there's a width, but the height is very small. Or you could say the width is very small, whatever, depending on how you're doing it. Basically, with this, you're dealing 2 dimensions versus a box, you're dealing with 3 dimensions. So the idea with this is you're generally going to be putting basically semi-flat things, because the question is, how much is this going to expand? It's only going to expand a certain amount. That's going to be very important as I talk about this, so we're going to discuss this in 1 second. So my question is, because this is where the issue I have with bag in a box, and hopefully somebody can help me. So let's take this box, for example. We're going to take this box. Now, if I were to measure this strictly as a box, this is 13 inches by 11 inches by 8 inches. That's the the length, the width, the height by that. If I put these coordinates and say I need to send this to my mom in New York. I love my mom. I'm from Texas. She's going, well, I'm not from Texas. I'm from New York, but I live in Texas. So this is going to my mom in New York. This would cost me $14.56 if I were to send this off priority to my mom in New York. And this box, by the way, weighs 3 pounds, 3 ounces. Okay? So $14.56. However, if I use the box in a bag method, the price significantly lowers. But here's where the problem is, and maybe this is where you can help me. Pirate Ship says that in order to use a box in a bag, you have to measure your envelope before you place the item in, which would be this dimension versus this dimension. Okay? But now let's do the math. I just want to show you something. Look what starts happening as I start expanding, expanding, expanding. What's happening? Mathematically speaking, this is decreasing. But the measurement is not necessarily decreasing. It's just basically a cubic rate. It is calculating how much space can fit in this area. So technically, if you could fill up this area completely, it's the same rate as if you didn't fill it up and had it flat. Now let's talk about it from a box and a bag perspective. Obviously, this bag is not going to fit this box because if I try to put it in, it doesn't fit. So what people are saying is get contractor bags, get contractor garbage bags, cut them up, and then wrap them around the box and tape them up really good. But here's where the problem is, and this is where there's that lack of information and false information. People are taking the bags, wrapping them around the box, and then measuring the bag around the box. But that's defeating the purpose because originally, and even on the Paraship site, it says to measure before you put the item in, which means this 13-inch by 11-inch by 8-inch box, in order for me to get a package to slip into it, I would have to increase the size of the bag so this way the bag can actually wrap around the third dimensional part. You see what I mean? So instead of it being a 13-inch box, I would need to increase the bag size by approximately up to, say, 16 to 18 inches in order to wrap it around. Same thing on the other end in order to wrap it around, which is now going to increase the dimensions. So I did a quick dimension. Oh, and with pirate ship, this is very important. You can only go up to 18 inches. Can't go past 18 inches. Once you go past 18 inches, then you have to use a box method. So box in the bag, let's just say I did this instead of 13 by 8 by 11, I now switched it to 16 inches by 16 inches. This is 16-inch by 16-inch bag will cover this box without a problem. That changes it from $14.56 to $13.18. That's not, I mean, that's only a small difference. It does add up in the long run. But if I kept it the way people are telling me, where I wrap this up and then use same measurements, which is 13 inches by 11 inches, instead of it being $13.18, it's only $9.40. But that's just it. If I legitimately had a bag 13 inches by 11 inches, with it being that small, it is not going to cover this box in its entirety. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, no, I don't know. I could be losing people. But that's box number one. Let's go to box number two, because this is the one that I'm looking at, and this is the one that makes a significant difference. So, with my box number two, this one weighs 9 pounds, 12 ounces. If I take it regular, it's 16 inches by 12 inches by 9 inches, which means going to where I need this to go will cost $27.07. Now, if I take those same dimensions, it would only turn into 16 by 12 inches. 16 by 12 inches goes from $27.07 down to $11.38. That is a significant difference. That is a savings in my pocket. However, once again, if I took a 16-inch by 12-inch bag, right there, if I took a 16-inch by 12-inch bag, this is not going to fit the box. Because remember, as I open the bag up, the bag is going to decrease as you're adding that third dimension. Which means I would have to have this bag to be at least 18 by, say, 16 inches. Let's say 18 by 16 inches. And that would bring it down from $27.07 down to $13.18, which is still a significant savings. But the question now becomes, when the post office measures, they're going to see this box and bag. They're going to see everything flush. So when they do their measurements, they're going to be doing this by this. However, in order to cover this box, this bag had to be bigger. So my question is, because the miscommunication that I'm getting is people are wrapping it up first, then putting the dimensions of the bag. And then other people are saying, no, you got to measure the bag first then wrap it up. And then other people are saying you should not be doing this method at all. So I'm throwing the question out there because I believe that this is a very, very important question for resellers. I believe it's an issue that should be discussed. I would love if the Postal Service had a more clear definition of cubic rate, and I would also love if Pirate Ship had a clear definition of what cubic rate is, because right now it's not clear and it is confusing, and there certainly is a big difference between a box this size and a box this size. You tell me, everyone. That is the thought for the day. If you have any help, guidance, thoughts, opinions, I would love to see you write it down in the comments. Until next time, this is Melanie with Light Beach Treasures. Take care.